My own blood turned into my enemy. Just to stay one step ahead, my cousin, Marcus, was always a step ahead, or so he thought. Ever since we were kids, I admired him. He had this effortless charm, a way of holding court, even when we were just playing in our grandmother's dusty attic, pretending to discover ancient relics. I wanted to be like him, to share in that world he so confidently navigated. He was older, cooler, and seemed to possess this innate understanding of the art world that I, a working-class kid from Manchester, could only dream of. I copied his style, devoured the art books he discarded, even attempted to mimic his precise, confident brushstrokes. But instead of an ally, Marcus saw a competitor. Every time I'd show even a glimmer of artistic promise, a sketch praised by a school teacher, a small local competition win, he'd find a way to belittle it. "Your art is as forgettable as your name, Liam. Stick to sketching," he'd sneer, his words sharper than any palette knife, delivered with a dismissive flick of his wrist. He'd parade his own small victories, a commendation from a local gallery, a piece accepted into a student exhibition, rubbing them in my face. But I never felt anger, just a persistent ache of longing for his approval. I'd just offer a genuine compliment, hoping to bridge the chasm between us. This only seemed to fuel his contempt, and he'd brush me off, sometimes literally, sending my charcoal drawings fluttering to the floor like discarded autumn leaves. I didn't give up on the idea of us, on a shared passion, until my 18th birthday. My parents, who scraped and saved every penny, gifted me a spot at a summer art intensive in London, a place Marcus had always dismissed as amateur hour. The moment I got the acceptance letter, a tremor of hope ran through me. I called Marcus, voice practically vibrating with excitement, asking if he'd consider visiting, offering to show him my work. "Liam, my dear, what makes you think I'd waste my time at some provincial art camp?" he chuckled, his tone dripping with condescension. "But tell you what, send me a photograph of your masterpiece. I'll give you some pointers." I painstakingly photographed my most ambitious piece, a vibrant, abstract expression of Manchester's industrial heart. When I sent it, Marcus responded with a single, brutal text, "Pathetic. Looks like a child's finger painting. Don't embarrass yourself exhibiting that." That moment, watching years of work derided, felt like a brushstroke across my soul, leaving a permanent scar. I promised myself I would never show him anything truly valuable of mine again. 2 years later, at 20, I won a prestigious National Emerging Artist Award. Marcus, by then a burgeoning figure in the London art scene, hadn't quite forgotten my existence, though he rarely acknowledged it. He must have seen the news online because, to my shock, he actually called. He asked if he could attend the award ceremony. I hesitated, then said yes, a tiny, foolish part of me still hoping for a reconciliation. On the day of the event, the esteemed curator, Ms. Davies, was on stage, announcing the winners. She moved from the honorable mentions to the runners-up. But my name wasn't called. Just as she was about to announce the grand prize winner, Marcus, seated prominently in the front row, suddenly clutched his chest, gasping for air. A ripple of concern swept through the room. Everyone turned, whispers filling the air about Marcus, the rising star, being unwell. He remained slumped until the faint wail of an ambulance could be heard approaching. Then, with a theatrical flourish, he sprang up. "Oh, everyone, I'm perfectly fine," he boomed, a wide, almost manic grin plastered on his face. "Just a touch of artistic exhaustion. Too much genius, you see." Everyone sighed with relief, but I just met his gaze, the bitter truth a silent symphony between us. After that, I became a ghost in my own life, meticulously hiding my artistic triumphs not just from Marcus, but even from my parents. Life became terribly lonely. It was excruciating not to share the small victories, a piece sold, a commission landed, the quiet satisfaction of creation. But I knew I couldn't trust my parents to keep it from him, so deeply did they revere Marcus and his success. When I turned 22, I finally landed a major exhibition, an anonymous showcase for a mysterious new artist in a high-profile gallery. My parents found the invitation in the mail before I got home. When I walked in the door, my mother shrieked, "Liam, darling, what is this? A secret admirer?" They immediately started snapping pictures of me holding the elegant card, planning to post them all over social media. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to bask in their innocent joy, figuring Marcus was too engrossed in his own burgeoning gallery empire to notice. I was wrong. The next morning, my parents burst into my small flat, their faces grim. "Liam, Marcus has been offered a prestigious directorship at the Sterling Gallery, the one with the Fauchen collection," my Aunt Sarah said, her voice strained, a hint of awe even in her distress. "He needs full creative control and space for his curatorial genius. He's asked to use your studio as his preparatory space indefinitely. It's a huge opportunity for him." My Uncle Robert stood behind her, nodding gravely. I knew right away it was a lie, a fabricated excuse to dominate my space, my life, but I needed proof. Marcus arrived that afternoon, an insufferable smirk on his face, his usual designer scarf tied just so. He carried a single, unassuming canvas, wrapped in brown paper, placing it reverently in the center of my studio. "Just a little something I'm nurturing, Liam," he drawled, feigning exhaustion. "The weight of genius, you know. I'll be working mostly from here now." That night, I made us tea, listening to his inflated pronouncements about his new directorship, feigning belief. After 2 weeks of Marcus effectively colonizing my creative sanctuary, filling it with his preening pronouncements and the cloying scent of his expensive cologne, he announced he was hosting an exclusive viewing party for his new acquisition, the canvas he'd brought. He invited everyone who mattered in the London art scene, including several critics who had previously dismissed my early, unheralded work. It was perfect. Halfway through the party, as Marcus launched into a rambling, self-congratulatory speech about his discovery of lost masterpiece he claimed to have unearthed, I quietly stepped forward. "Marcus, dear cousin," I interrupted, my voice calm but cutting through the hushed reverence, "before you unveil your masterpiece, perhaps we should discuss its provenance." He faltered, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. "What are you talking about, Liam? Don't be absurd." "Oh, it's not absurd at all," I replied, a small, knowing smile playing on my lips. I simply adjusted the canvas on the easel, revealing the subtle, undeniable proof beneath Marcus's masterpiece. It was my signature, almost imperceptible, hidden beneath layers of Marcus's crude overpainting. And next to it, a tiny, almost invisible QR code. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announced, addressing the stunned crowd, "this isn't a lost masterpiece. This is my finger painting, the one my dear cousin Marcus publicly deemed pathetic and childish 2 years ago." With a flourish, I pulled out my phone, scanned the QR code, and projected a high-resolution image onto the large screen behind us. It was a video, secretly recorded, of Marcus in his own gallery, laughing as he crudely painted over sections of my original artwork, all while mocking my artistic aspirations. "Your masterpiece is nothing more than my dismissed work, defaced and represented as your own." Instead of admitting his deceit, Marcus, his face a mask of scarlet fury, lunged for the screen, but Ms. Davies, the auction house's lead appraiser, a woman known for her keen eye and even keener sense of integrity, stepped forward. "Marcus," she said, her voice ice cold, "the Sterling Gallery prides itself on authenticity. Your contract, effective immediately, is terminated. And as for your work, Mr. Liam," she turned to me, her eyes gleaming with a newfound respect, "I believe we have a few other pieces to discuss." Marcus, utterly humiliated, stormed out of the gallery. I watched him go, the whispers of the crowd turning into a buzz of admiration. I returned to my flat, leaving my Aunt Sarah and Uncle Robert to deal with the fallout. The next morning, I woke to my Aunt Sarah, tears streaming down her face, standing over my bed. "How could you undermine your own cousin, Liam, when he's finally achieving something meaningful?" she sobbed, clutching Marcus's acquisition notice. I just stared at her, the emptiness inside me slowly filling with a quiet, resolute strength. "He told us that was a legitimate acquisition, that you'd given it to him for artistic collaboration. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe for more unforgettable, emotional, and viral true stories. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you watching from?